Room 317, Never Sleeps. A horror story inspired by Dara and Grace. The rain hammered against the windows of the Morganview Hotel as Grace stepped through the heavy wooden doors. The receptionist looked up without smiling. "Checking in?" he asked. Grace nodded. "Room 317. The old man froze. "You're sure?" She laughed nervously. "It's only a room." Without another word, he slowly handed her a rusty brass key. "Whatever you hear tonight," he whispered, "don't open the door." The hallway was impossibly long. Every light flickered. Every painting seemed to watch her. When Grace reached room 317, the wallpaper looked stained with age. She unlocked the door. Inside was a beautiful old hotel room, too beautiful, like nobody had stayed there for decades. The moment she shut the door, click, the lock turned by itself. Grace frowned. "I didn't lock it." She tried the handle. It wouldn't move. She heard footsteps, slow, heavy, outside. 1, 2, 3. They stopped outside room 317. Silence. Then, knock. 3 slow knocks. Grace stayed perfectly still. Another knock. Louder. Then a woman's voice. "Grace." Her heart stopped. Nobody here should know her name. She looked through the peephole. Nothing. The hallway was empty. The television suddenly switched on. Static. Then an old black and white recording. It showed room 317, the same room, the same bed, the same wardrobe. Then someone walked into the picture. A girl, long black hair, standing perfectly still, facing away from the camera. Grace whispered, "No." The figure slowly turned its head. It smiled. The television exploded into static. Midnight. Grace heard crying. Real crying. Coming from the bathroom, she slowly opened the door. Nobody. Just an old mirror. But the reflection wasn't hers. Instead, she saw herself, standing behind herself, crying. When she turned around, nothing. When she looked back, the reflection smiled. 12:26 a.m., Grace ran into the hallway. It wasn't the same hallway anymore. Every hotel door now read 317. Every single one. Hundreds of identical doors. The lights went out. Only one lamp remained. At the end of the corridor stood a woman in a torn gray dress. She wasn't moving. She didn't blink. Grace screamed and ran. Behind her, footsteps, not walking, running. 12:40 a.m., she burst through another door. Instead of another room, she entered the hotel lobby. But it was abandoned, covered in dust. The reception bell rang by itself. Ding. A guest book lay open. Every page contained one name. Grace. Again, and again, and again. Thousands of times. Then the writing changed. Check ever. The lights died. Grace found another note on the floor. Written in dark red ink, room 317 never sleeps. She looked up. Someone was standing at the end of the hall, not walking, not breathing, just staring. Its face was hidden, then its head twisted sideways. Grace backed away. The figure took one step. The lights flickered. It was closer. Another flicker. Closer again. Another, only inches away. Grace shut her eyes. Silence. She opened them. Nothing. The hallway was empty. Until she noticed something. The elevator doors were open. Inside, the same woman stood perfectly still, waiting. The elevator doors slowly began to close. Just before they shut, the woman whispered, "You're staying forever." Dawn, police arrived after reports of screams echoing from the abandoned Morganview Hotel. They searched every room, every hallway, every floor. Room 317 didn't exist. The building plans showed no such room had ever been built. Yet on the reception desk lay a single brass key. Attached to it was a small tag, 317. The guest book had one final entry. Grace checked in, 10:43 p.m., checked out never. The end. Some doors should stay closed, because once room 317 knows your name, it never forgets.